Hi crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I'm going to make a cute embossed critter card for you. So let's jump right in. Now to start, I'm going to show you these markers. These are from Altenew. They're a dual tip. They're kind of water-based, so they're fun to play with but inexpensive. I have some cardstock here, and here's a photo of the finished card to show you the direction that we're headed. It came together relatively quickly, but it did combine some fun elements from my crafty stash. So I'm just going to pull a few of these markers in cool colors, and what I really like about these is they're water reactive. So I'm not working on watercolor paper, but I am instead working on Bristol Smooth, which does have a little bit of a clear coating. It's nothing like Yupo paper or anything like that, but it does handle water better than regular cardstock, and with that little bit of coating, it allows markers or inks like this to kind of move around a little bit. So I have my Arteza water brush pen, and I'm just using some water to kind of pull and blend these colors together and get rid of some of the line marks from the markers. But you can see how quickly this comes together. Super easy. You can make backgrounds in a snap this way. You could do, a little rainbow blend or something like that. But this is just going to be the background in this case, so I'm not being too fussy. I did decide to spritz it with a little bit of this glitter shimmer spray just to add another unexpected element, so that was fun. And I'm just going to kind of dry it up a little bit with my new heat tool. It's a heated gun, I think. It's the one that Simon Hurley always uses, but it's not quite as hot as my embossing gun, so it works well to just kind of dry some ink or paint or things like that. Now I have this gorgeous 3D embossing folder from Altenew. I'm just going to add some wave elements. Now it's not the most noticeable thing in the world. When you're holding the card, you can absolutely see it, but it's not quite as dramatic as some of my other embossing folders. You can really see the glitter on there. Now I have this Thanks So Much. This is one of the honkin' huge giant dies from, I can't think of the name. Oh my goodness, Lawn Fawn is right in my face. I haven't had enough coffee today, folks. Anyway, I'm going to use some other white cardstock just to cut this out through my die cutting machine off screen. And then I'm going to emboss this die cut just to add another element. So if you want to kind of soup up your big Fatty McGee die cuts like this, you should pop them through in an embossing folder and give you some extra dimension and interest. Now I'm actually just leaving it in the panel just to give it a little bit more stability, and then I'll pop it out when I'm done. So I'm going to run this through. This is the angled mosaic from Altenew. It's another 3D embossing folder, and you can see this really interesting dimension that you now have on your die cut. So it's a fun way to stretch your supplies and really get more use out of them. So I have my pokey tool from my friend Judy. Just going to poke out these extra little bits from the cardstock, and I will set this aside and move on to the next step. Now, a fun way to create some even dimension behind your card is to kind of pop it up with some foam. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that yet or if I'm going to pick out the critters. Yep, I'm going to pick out the critters. Can't remember what order I did things, folks. But this is my storage solution for my critters. These are already cut out or die cut out, fussy cut out critters that are already ready to go. So I'm picturing one in that O of the so, because it's such a big opening. I thought it would be cute to put a little critter in there. So I'm kind of figuring out my options that were to work cute. It's I think an Avery L little peekaboo critter. But I'm flipping through this little cat. I really like the orange next to the teal. I thought that was kind of a nice contrast, but as you know, I didn't end up going that route. But then I thought, I did kind of create some waves, so I should probably do something more water related. Had to try a poodle. Again, a little peekaboo poodle. Wasn't the right one. So flipping through the options, and then I see this adorable whale and narwhal that I will pull out in a moment. Trying some other sea creatures. That turtle was pretty cute. I'm liking that, but again, the green wasn't quite right. I felt like it didn't really match the teal that I had in the background, so I'm going to abandon this, shove all those back in there, and I ended up going with this cute narwhal and the whale. And I can't remember the company that made that. If that stamp set is still available, I will link it below. I'm thinking it might be discontinued, but use whatever critters you have. I'm sure you have loads of them like I do, but this is what I was saying, a fun way to create even dimension. Cut a foam layer instead of doing little fiddly foam bits. So I have some white foam here that I actually backed with some adhesive. I have this scrapbook roll that it's going to take me forever to get through. It's I think a 6-inch roll, maybe. Yeah, a 6-inch roll, and it's huge, and it's going to take me forever. So what I'm trying to remember to do is just take my foam sheets that don't have adhesive and then just put that all over the back of it, just to create my own adhesive backed foam. So again, I'm just poking out the little bits, and then I'm going to attach the embossed cardstock layer on top of the foam, which is now basically like a sticker. So that'll give me nice even dimension behind the entire die cut, and I don't have to worry about little fiddly bits. But I am dealing with some clogged glue. I don't know what is going on with this bottle. I've never had it clog so much as I have lately, so I don't know if it's like something that happens when you get a little bit farther along in the bottle. Let me know in the comments if you've had this with Barely Arts glue. I've never had any issues with it clogging, but yeah, I'm struggle bus. I'm trying to poke it through and figure out. I couldn't find anything stuck in there, so I don't know what was holding it up. It was a little problematic. So fighting with this for a while, but eventually I get it to work. And then I'm going to attach that onto the foam, and then probably put a big acrylic block on it just to let it sit and kind of cure a little bit so it doesn't come unattached from the foam. Sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of really stick to it. So I'm just pressing that down. Now it would be fun also to do a fun foam in a different color that you could see from the side, or you can even offset it a little bit just to kind of do kind of a cool drop shadow. So here you can see now I have a glorified sticker. I'm just going to pull the backer off of this. It's extremely sticky. This scrapbook stuff is no joke. And I decided to kind of kick it off at an angle. I thought that was kind of fun and whimsical, kind of a different direction than the wave. And then I decided to put the little whale in the O, and then I'll put the narwhal on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue to put the narwhal down. You can see I have a little messed up stamping on the back. It's the beauty of paper. You get two sides, right? So you can not waste the paper and not worry about your mistakes. You get a whole other side. Anyway, I'm going to put this little whale here. I'm going to put a little foam dot just to give it some support in the center, and then I'll use liquid glue to attach it to the embossed letter as well, just so it's got some, so it doesn't get scrunched down in the mail if it gets crushed or anything like that. So there's that bit here. I'm making sure, well, I didn't line it up well, so I gotta do it again. There we go. Press it down. And then I'm going to bring in this resin droplet blingage. It looks like water droplets, so it works great with the whole water theme and the ocean waves and whatnot on the card. So going in odd numbers, the usual, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. I know you're shocked. Got my jewel picker tool, and again the liquid glue, which thankfully was behaving for this portion. But I'm just going to place those down, and that's going to finish the design. So I hope you enjoyed this idea. I hope it encourages you to kind of bust out your critter stamps. These don't have to just be for kids. They can be for adults too. I know I love getting critter cards, so it's not limited to only little kids. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll link everything I used that's available in the video description box below if you expand and scroll down, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.